Narcissistic MIL cancelled my baby shower last minute and showed up uninvited to the one my mom jumbled to throw instead, and now is crying on social media for me being a selfish daughter-in-law. I, 31F, am furious right now. A few weeks ago, my MIL, let's call her Judy, promised to host a baby shower for her family and friends. This was after my mom's invite to the baby shower my mom was planning for me went out. So she had received the invite from her. Obviously I reminded her that my mom wanted to plan one, and I agreed thinking it would be cool to have two and just easier because my husband and I both have huge families and there's no way both families would be able to be in one place at the same time without renting out a hall or something, which we don't have the money for. She said that was fine and agreed with me and said she'd be willing to host one at her place so that my mom could host one at her place. Cool. Whatever. But a few months ago, my MIL and Phil bought this place that literally hadn't been updated since the 70s. I'm talking brown shag carpet, shell sinks, and green tubs. You name it. It needed a lot of work. They would occasionally ask my husband, 31M, I'll call him Mike, to help them work on the place, but this was while we were also trying to get our own house ready for this baby. It was a real pain in the ass because we had even told them that we'd be limited in how much help we can give them because of trying to prep for baby and all this. My husband is a woodworker and is building the crib and change table himself. Both his MIL and Phil said that they were okay and didn't need the help and that they'd get contractors. Well, 2 weeks in and they had already called him to help scrape the popcorn ceilings off. I'd kid if you've ever done that, but it's a real pain in the ass. Anyways, the date of the baby shower is approaching and the house is nowhere near done. We keep asking if we should let people know that her shower is cancelled or if we should change the location or change the date. She said it's okay, it'll be done and promised us. Well, literally the week of the shower, they're over for dinner and she drops the bomb and tells us that she thinks she bit off more than she could chew and asked if we'd be okay hosting the shower here. I look at my husband and he almost spits his food out. I'm waiting for him to say something. My MIL starts half-ass apologizing and said she'd bring over everything, the food, extra tables, she must needs the space. Well, we live in an 1,100 square foot condo and she wants about 30 people here. She must have seen the look on my face and goes, if we would have had the help, it might have been done for the shower. She accused me of not being excited about the house or appreciating it when she mentioned it at dinner before. She never showed any signs of underappreciation. She always told me to rest and that she didn't need my help because of my condition. And then I said that Mike has been busy here trying to get our own house ready for the baby. There was a lot around here that needed to get done that we've been putting off and we don't want to have to be doing things while the baby is here. Well, they go home that night and my husband receives a text that says they are too burnt out from Reno's to be hosting a baby shower and that they're going to be reaching out to people to tell them that it's cancelled. She even said that I wasn't being grateful and didn't seem excited that she was doing all of this for me and felt a little bit used. Used? She's the one that wanted to do a baby shower for me even though my mom had already invited her to hers. Why is she doing this? I am beyond pissed off with her. And on top of everything else, I am about to give birth to her first and only grandchild in less than 2 months. This isn't the first time she's been like this with me. She never really liked me dating Mike in the past. We've been together for 15 years. We started dating in senior year. She would literally ignore me when I would come over to their place after school. She'd tell Mike to date other people right in front of me. She'd even go so far as getting numbers from other girls or bringing girls to hockey games that Mike used to play. So after a hockey game, these girls she'd bring would be thinking that Mike was interested and then I'd be standing there waiting for him to get out of the dressing room. Mike used to be in a junior team that would go away and live with a billet family for the winter seasons and then he'd come back in the summer. He wouldn't be paid for this but it was sort of like playing hockey to like either get a scholarship or drafted to a farm team or the NHL. It was basically an unpaid career. Anyways, since then I've distanced myself from her and my Phil. Not that he really did anything wrong but I feel like maybe by allowing her to do that it sort of was kind of doing something wrong. I don't want to go over to their house anymore. I don't care that there's no baby shower for her, but I am sort of sad that Mike's aunts and sisters and a few family friends on his side think that it's cancelled and are bummed about it. I want to invite them to my mom's. I've already talked to my mom about it and she's cool with that. But like, should I invite them and then not invite my MIL? Would that look bad? What do I do? Update 1. I couldn't help but stew in my anger and frustration even though I really tried to get over it. The audacity of my MIL's behavior was astonishing. She had a knack for making everything about herself. And yeah, maybe I was still feeling petty about things that had happened in the past, but like for real. After going over it with Mike and my mom, we decided that it would be best to extend the invitation to some of Mike's relatives while excluding my MIL. It wasn't an act of revenge or malice. It was just a way for us to salvage the celebration that my MIL had single-handedly ruined because of her own pride. My mom sympathized with the situation, understanding that sometimes family dynamics can be challenging. I reached out to Mike's aunts and sisters individually, explaining the situation and extending an invitation to join us at my mom's baby shower in a few weeks' time. I tried to emphasize how much it would mean to have them there to celebrate this special moment in our lives. His aunts and sisters understood. They knew how Judy can be. Honestly, I don't even think they have that great of a relationship. His one aunt is constantly bitching to us about Judy and how much she uses her for rides around the city or babysitting their dog. I knew that they wouldn't want to miss out on something like this just because Judy can't get her shit together. As the days went on and the weekend came and went, we got heartfelt responses from Mike's aunts and sisters. They told us how disappointed they were in Judy and assured us that they would be more than happy to attend my mom's baby shower. They asked if we didn't want them to tell Judy, but we said it was to their own discretion. We honestly didn't care. It wasn't my party. It was my mom's. And my mom said if Judy thinks she's a bitch for not inviting her MIL, then so be it. My mom gets it. Meanwhile, my MIL remained distant and it was total radio silence. She avoided any direct confrontation with me or Mike. It was clear that she was not pleased with our decision to exclude her from the baby shower. However, I didn't let her manipulative tactics affect my happiness during this joyful time. This was supposed to be one of the best times in our lives. She wasn't going to bring this down. Throughout the day, I couldn't help but notice how supportive and genuinely happy everyone was for us. It honestly felt totally different to the energy that Judy was giving towards us. My mom had done an incredible job organizing the event, and it was a true celebration of love and anticipation for our growing family. There were games, laughter, and heartfelt conversations that made me feel so grateful to have these people in my life. But nothing could prepare me for what happened next. That bitch literally walks in the front door with gifts in her hands and a big fake smile stretched across her face as if nothing had happened. I was right in the middle of opening gifts. I was on fire. The absolute audacity of this woman was beyond comprehension, and her blatant disregard for my feelings. Judy sauntered into the room like her shit didn't stink. And she was wearing this white dress. I was wearing a white dress. Well, I couldn't let you have all the fun now, could I? She said with this smug look, and I could have just screamed. Mike's aunts and sisters literally fell silent and looked shocked as hell, but nobody else knew that Judy wasn't going to be there on purpose. Nobody really asked about her at all, really. I gritted my teeth the whole time I was opening up the presents. My heart fell into my butt. I did feel bad, but like, how dare she show her face here after everything she'd done? My face was probably beet red with embarrassment and anger. I forced a smile and couldn't say anything. My mom came to greet her and said, by all means, Judy, please, make yourself at home, but it was more like a fuck you tone. Judy's laughter grated on my nerves, and she went to grab a mimosa and settled into the seat beside me, urging me to open her gifts next. I wanted to honestly get up and cry and call Mike. I felt like I was 19 again, and Judy was trying to hurt me and pretend I didn't exist. This wasn't about me. She needed to make it all about her. And I knew that that's why she wanted to have a baby shower. The shower wouldn't be for me, it would be for her. To show off the fact that she was going to be a grandma and that she was going to have a grandbaby. My mom knew that I was getting upset and suggested we get up and start a game. I ended up going to the bathroom and calling Mike and crying. Mike told me he was going to come and drag his mom out of there, but I told him that it was okay and just to leave it. We can deal with it later. I mean, we didn't invite her after all. This was my karma, I guess. And so stood back up and wiped my face and went back and pretended I wasn't bothered. Bless my mom for taking care of all of this. She was an absolute champ at diverting and diffusing the situation. The day wore on and the festivities continued. I didn't want to be upset, but like, also fuck her. She was interacting with everyone as if all was good, and at one point my cousin said they didn't think she was coming, and Judy straight up told her that I didn't want her there. My cousin laughed it off as if it was a joke. I felt so embarrassed. After the party, a few of my friends stayed behind and asked about why she had come so late, and I had to tell them that I didn't invite her. They all understood because they know all about her and how she's treated me. Update 2. The next day Judy calls us and she tries to rip me and Mike a new one. He turns it back on her and is like, how dare you and all this stuff. He's basically yelling at her and was telling her how she was wrong for crashing my mom's baby shower uninvited. He said she wasn't invited because of how she was treating them, Becca, me, specifically, and making the shower all about her. He said that Becca, me, just wanted a day to celebrate her and the baby. Mike made it clear that her behavior was unacceptable and hurtful and that we wanted a break from her. He also apologized to her and said that we probably should have told her, but that she canceled it, and my mom thought it would be a nice gesture to still allow people to celebrate Becca, me. Judy tried to defend herself, claiming that she had a right to be there as the grandmother-to-be, but Mike wasn't having any of it. You had your chance, Mom, but you chose to make this all about yourself. We asked you multiple times if we should reschedule or find some other way to have one. You disrespected us and our wishes. We're tired of your selfishness and manipulation. It's time for you to realize that your actions have consequences. I could hear Judy on the other end, and she was totally taken aback by Mike's stern tone. He was very much giving her the what for. I've heard him talk to her like this before, but like, also not to this extent. This was serious. She started crying. Blah blah blah. Crocodile tears. But for once, he didn't back down or try to pacify her. He stood his ground, asserting himself, and really refused to tolerate any more of her toxic bullshit. He told her we're not going to be talking to them for a while, and then his father got on the phone and I could hear him getting back at Mike for making his mother cry. Whatever. I'm so over it all. I really don't need this in my life. But like, are we wrong? Am I the asshole here? Update 3, well, get this. I told you that Judy called us this morning and we sort of laid into her. She put me on blast all over Facebook tonight and said that I didn't want her to be a part of the baby shower and that I forced her to cancel the shower that she had planned because her house wasn't good enough for my standards, and she's calling me a spoiled brat who doesn't know what it means to be family. She said that I called her a slew of names after the baby show. She also blocked me on Facebook, so I couldn't even see this, but Mike could. People in the comments were giving her pity and calling me a bitch and a selfish cow and saying that she didn't raise Mike this way. She even said that I was going to keep her baby away from her. What? I honestly can't even believe this, and I can't even believe I'm typing this out right now. Mike called his dad and told him what happened, and his dad took her side. He said that there was no reason to have 2 showers, and if I felt that way about Judy, then I'm not welcome in their lives. Has the whole world gone mad? She keeps posting pictures of Mike as a baby and responding to people's comments and saying that she was so excited to have a baby in the family again, but she said this is going to give her a heart attack, and now she's on Facebook posting how she's having heart palpitations and doesn't know if she's going to make it through the night. Am I in the twilight zone? What is actually happening right now? Update 4, hi all. Just here to say that we had a beautiful baby girl and I can't even believe it. Everything is so magical. I'm a mommy. Before she was born, we went complete NC with both Mike's mom and dad. We were both just so done with the craziness and really didn't want to bring her into this world with all of that. There was a super intense moment a few days after we brought her home when Judy tried to come by with some pre-made meals, but we have the Ring doorbell. So with this doorbell you can see who is at the door because there's a camera there, and basically talk to the person through a microphone if you don't want to answer the door. So Mike sees that it's Judy. She's standing there with what looks like meals in tinfoil. I look at Mike and I'm like, hell no, that shit could be poisoned. I wouldn't doubt it at this point, and he goes on the intercom and says that she needs to leave because we aren't answering the door and she's not welcome here. Her fake little smile instantly faded and she starts spitting back saying that we can't keep her away from her baby and the baby needs her in her life, and we're only jeopardizing the baby's growth by keeping her away from her grandma. Just psycho words. Mike says if she doesn't leave that he'll call the cops. She then throws the food at the door and rips off our Ring camera. Mike calls his dad and tells him what happens, and basically we are still NC after that. But all that's to say that we have our beautiful girl here now, and honestly, fuck Judy. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Caught my girlfriend secretly dating her stepbrother behind my back all these years, so I exposed their affair in front of everyone at our college graduation banquet. My girlfriend and I both met during our junior year of college. We went to a small school and it was hard not to notice everyone on campus. I'd seen her around from time to time and I thought she was attractive. However, I never had a reason to go talk to her. We both ended up in the same writing class during the first semester of our junior year. As soon as I saw her, I sat down next to her and struck up a conversation. We ended up hitting it off and we workshopped a lot of things together for the class. A few weeks into the semester I made a move on her and she seemed glad that I did. The first summer that we were apart was difficult because we weren't used to long distance. We lived about 4 hours away from each other, so we weren't able to see each other very often. We talked every day and we ended up making a couple of trips to each other to hang out over the summer. When the fall semester of our senior year started, we were very happy to finally be back together. Everything was great between us when we started. I didn't notice anything strange going on between us, so I was maybe a little oblivious to some things. In hindsight, I can see how she wanted to hang out with me less and was using her course load as an excuse. I had seen her schedule at the beginning of the semester, and she had a relatively light course load. She had a job, but she only worked at it part-time. There was definitely time for her to go on more dates with me or spend more time with me. She just didn't want to. Whenever we were together, she would be on her phone a lot. And she was often pretty secretive about what she was doing on it. Things continued like that all the way until the spring semester. I had brought up a couple of times how I was feeling, but she assured me both times that she wanted to be with me and that she was just busy or stressed. One night, I texted her and asked her if I could come over to her room and spend the night with her. It was a Friday night and I knew that she didn't work in the morning and I just wanted to be with my girlfriend. She replied a few minutes later and told me that she had a migraine from looking at a computer for too long and was about to go to sleep. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a notification that my girlfriend was online. She told me she was going to sleep because she was looking at a screen all day and had a headache. I figured that she was lying to me about that and just didn't want to be with me because she was scrolling on Instagram. It was painful to have that realization, but I think it was something that I kind of needed. I was a little upset about it, so my roommate asked me about what was going on. I explained everything to him and he told me that it sounded like she was over the relationship already. Then he casually mentioned that she was probably already talking to someone else. I didn't see the correlation right away, but he encouraged me to look into it. I didn't really think much about it right away, but after a few days of stewing on what he said I decided that maybe it would be worth looking into. She really didn't want to spend a lot of time with me and she was on her phone quite a bit being secretive about it. It made sense that she could have been hiding something from me. I looked online for some clues about how to tell if someone's cheating and I evaluated my relationship against those. I took a mental note of what her Snap score was if she was online after she told me she was going to sleep, and how often she was turning me down when I asked if we could go on dates or be together. From everything I found, signs are pointing to her possibly being with someone else. One weekend we made plans to go to a concert together. I bought the tickets and everything. She backed out at the last minute and told me that she had to work. She never worked on Saturdays, so right away it seemed like a lie to me. I told her that I was okay with it and that I would bring my roommate along to the concert with me instead. I told him what happened and he got it in my head that she was canceling to be with another guy. I let him convince me of that and I was pretty frustrated and anxious about everything. I checked her Snap score while we were on our way to the concert and saw that it had been increasing while she was supposed to be at work. I could also tell through the maps on Snapchat that she was at a restaurant in the city, not at her job near our college campus. My roommate decided that instead of going to the concert we were going to go see what was going on in that restaurant. When we got there, she was clearly on a date with a guy. They were sitting next to each other and he had his arms around her while they were laughing and getting very cozy. We even saw them kiss a few times. I was heartbroken to see that everything my roommate had been saying was true. She had been cheating on me and lying to me throughout the year. I didn't know how long it had been going on, but she had been behaving a certain way for a while. While we were waiting, my roommate started looking through her social media profiles to try to figure out who the guy was. He put the pieces together relatively quickly and found out that the guy she was on the date with was her stepbrother. I knew that her parents were divorced and her mother had married pretty hastily during the spring semester of our junior year. However, I had never met her family. We hadn't been dating for that long and her family never visited for family weekend or anything like that on campus. I was shocked that she was cheating on me with her stepbrother of all people. I told my roommate that I was going to confront her the following day and end everything with us. He was the one who convinced me to go about it a different way. He helped me plan how I was going to get revenge on them both. Her family didn't come to visit for small things, but I knew that they were coming in for our graduation ceremony. I pretended like everything was normal with us up until then. Every year, the day before our graduation ceremony, our university held a large banquet for the students and their family members. My girlfriend and I had planned on attending that together with our families so we could all meet each other. Everything was going very well at first, everybody was getting along and I was honestly drinking a little too much wine. The president of the university was scheduled to give a speech at the dinner, so there was a live microphone on the stage in the room. I was feeling a little confident, so I made my way over to the microphone. The faculty around me were a little surprised, but they didn't stop me right away. They probably should have. I started off by congratulating all of my fellow classmates on making it through the year to get to graduation. I turned my attention to my girlfriend and many people in the room turned and looked at her while I was speaking. At first, it seemed like I was just talking about how lovely she was. Then I mentioned how I was surprised to see her on a date with her stepbrother. The room went silent when I brought that up. Everybody was taking in the gravity of what I'd said. They were both shaking their heads and denying it. I explained that I saw them kissing each other and how she was cheating on me with him throughout the entire year. People were pulling out their phones to record what I was saying, but I was ushered away from the microphone by one of the faculty members before I could get into a lot of the details. However, her mother and stepfather were asking her a lot of questions and she was trying to answer them. My parents pulled me out of the room and asked me about why I would embarrass her that way. I was just laughing and I ended up leaving. My girlfriend texted me later that night and told me about how much I humiliated her in front of the entire class. I didn't really care. She had been lying to me and treating me like I was garbage for an entire year and I finally found out why. I thought she deserved to be a little bit embarrassed about everything. Our graduation ceremony was the following day and people were still talking about the dinner. I could see that my girlfriend was embarrassed and could feel people talking about her behind her back throughout the entire ceremony. I really think I ruined that for her. That was a few years ago, but I am now over what happened. I realize that not everybody is going to be the way that she was. However, I am now very aware of signs of cheating and I keep an eye out for that in my relationships.